Child, Diddy is catching court cases left and right, and we are literally watching the downfall of Diddy in real time. He just got sued by a fourth woman, accusing him of S.Aing her, claiming that he gang R-worded her when she was only 17 years old. And get this, she is being represented by the same law firm that represented Cassie, so y'all know that she means business and she's not here to play. His lawyers came with all of the smoke for Diddy, and it's so over for Diddy. But Diddy is choosing not to be silent this time around, and he went off on Instagram about the new lawsuit, claiming that his new accuser is only trying to shake him down. There's a lot going on with this new lawsuit, so let's break it down. Now, the woman has chosen to stay anonymous, so she is only referred to as Jane Doe in the court documents. And just like with Cassie's lawsuit, this new one also has a trigger warning on the front page, so y'all know that it is bad. Her lawyers released a statement saying, Miss Doe has lived with her memories of this fateful night for 20 years, during which time she has suffered extreme emotional distress that has impacted nearly every aspect of her life and personal relationships. Given the brave women who have come forward against Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre in recent weeks, Miss Doe is doing the same. Like I said, Jane Doe and her lawyers were not here to play, and the things they said in the lawsuit were pretty bad. They said, specifically in 2003, when she was only 17 years old and in the 11th grade, Miss Doe was ST'd and gang SA'd by Mr. Combs, Mr. Pierre, and the third assailant. The court documents said that the identity of the third assailant hasn't been revealed yet, but there will be an update as soon as Jane Doe and her lawyers clear the information to be released. The documents went on to say, when she was just a teenager, Miss Doe met Mr. Pierre and the third assailant in a lounge in the Detroit, Michigan area. While at the lounge, Mr. Pierre insisted that he was best friends with Mr. Combs, and he even called Mr. Combs with Miss Doe. Mr. Combs convinced Miss Doe, who was half his age at the time, to accompany Mr. Pierre and the third assailant on a private jet to come to his studio in New York City. Before they left for the private jet, Mr. Pierre smoked in a bathroom at the lounge, in which he also SA'd Miss Doe by forcing her to give him oral action. The lawsuit revealed that Jane Doe was only 17, while Diddy was 34 at the time. So going by that timeline, this means that the alleged events took place before Cassie, and that shows that Diddy has been allegedly doing this for a long time. Which shouldn't be surprising considering that two other women have also accused him of S.Aing them back in the 90s. The lawsuit went on to say that Mr. Pierre, third assailant, and another gentleman then escorted the high schooler to a private jet, which flew them to Teterboro, New Jersey. There were SUVs awaiting the group at Teterboro, and the four of them were driven to Diddy's house recording studio, a studio famously owned and operated by Mr. Combs and Bad Boy. While at the studio, Mr. Combs and his associates, including Mr. Pierre, plied Miss Doe with substances. As the night wore on, the 17-year-old Miss Doe became more and more inebriated, eventually to the point that she could not possibly have consented to have an intimacy with anyone, much less someone twice her age. It continued. While at the studio, Miss Doe was SA'd by Mr. Combs, the third assailant, and Mr. Pierre in that order. While Mr. Combs was SA'ing Miss Doe, he complained that he could not get off unless she pinched his as hard as she could. Mr. Combs then watched on as the third assailant, who Miss Doe had not even realized had begun, SA'd Miss Doe as she told him to stop. After the third assailant was finished, Mr. Pierre took his turn and then forced her to give him oral action, during which Miss Doe was choking and struggling to breathe. The lawsuit also said, when Mr. Pierre finished, he left Miss Doe in the bathroom alone. Miss Doe fell into the fetal position and lay on the floor. Her privates were in pain. Finally, after a period of time, Miss Doe regained her bearings. However, she could barely stand up and had to be helped to walk out of the building and back into the car. She was taken back to an airport and flown back to Michigan. However, she has very limited recollection of her transport home and only remembers being in her car sometime early in the morning. This is a horrible thing to happen to anyone, much less a teenager. Plus, her story is very similar to that of Cassie's, where Cassie claimed that Diddy would force her to take substances before he forced her to sleep with male workers. Also, this seems to be Diddy's alleged MO because another woman who sued him, Joey Dickerson Neal, claimed that he spiked her drink before S.Aing her. According to reports, the complaint alleges Combs intentionally drugged Dickerson Neal, leaving her unable to stand or walk. The suit said she left her drink unattended with him at the restaurant, and afterward, under alleged pressure from Combs, she took a hit from a blunt. They then drove to a music studio, the suit stated. When Dickerson Neal couldn't exit the car, Combs allegedly took her to a place he was staying to S.A. her, according to the filing. So now we have a third woman alleging the same, and at this point, it's starting to get way out of hand. Plus, the other man who was named Harve Pierre, the former president of Bad Boy Records, also recently got sued for S.Aing another woman at the company. According to reports, the lawsuit filed in New York Supreme Court accuses Harve Pierre, a former president of Bad Boy Entertainment and Bad Boy Records, of engaging in a year-long pattern of unnamed assistant, leading to S.H. of plaintiff and S.A. from approximately 2016 to 2017. Pierre S.A. plaintiff on multiple occasions in New York City and other locations throughout the country. However, a representative of the company released a statement saying, "The allegations are from many years ago that were never brought to the attention of the company. Neither the plaintiff nor the executive are current employees of the company. We are now investigating the allegations, and our top priority is the safety and well-being of our employees." So now that they are both being sued for the same thing, it's not exactly hard to believe that Jane Doe is telling the truth. Plus, she came with some receipts, and the court documents included pictures showing her sitting in Diddy's lap, as well as several pictures that she took that day. There's no denying that she met Diddy as well as the other men she alleged. But wait, that's not all, because the lawsuit also exposed Diddy of having ties to the mafia. It said, at the time, Mr. Combs was 34 years old, twice the age of Miss Doe, and one of the most well-known and influential music artists of all time. A decade earlier, Mr. Combs founded Bad Boy and installed his longtime friend, Mr. Pierre, into the role of president. At the time, Mr. Combs had many connections to Michigan, including, among others, to the Black Mafia family, a trafficking and money laundering organization that is rumored to have seeded Bad Boy. Accordingly, upon information and belief, Mr. Combs' associates, including Mr. Pierre and the third assailant, spent significant time in and around Detroit, Michigan. Things are really looking bad for Diddy, and he apparently knows this because he finally released a statement saying, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." So it looks like Diddy is going to be fighting this case in court, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, because these lawyers seem like they know what they're doing, and again, they are not messing around. Fans are stunned by this new development, and they left comments saying, if Diddy was going to fight for his name, then why didn't he just go to court when Cassie gave him the opportunity? We'll wait. This whole thing got me thinking about Diddy's love persona. It always seemed a bit over the top, but now it makes so much sense. People hiding skeletons tend to overcompensate, and abusive people think that they are untouchable until reality comes crashing down. I don't doubt that somebody who has been insulated from consequence like Diddy has doesn't feel invincible, but R. Kelly felt invincible too, and that man is in for life. It's only a matter of time. I know Diddy said that he plans to fight this in court, but do you guys believe that he's actually going to let this get to court, considering the receipts that Jane Doe's lawyers brought? Or do you think that he's going to settle this real quick? Drop your thoughts in the comments, then check out this next video.